Hello and welcome. I'm John Shackelford, Product Manager for Analytics here at GitLab. In this Release 13.2 kickoff video, I'll be sharing the first of a series of updates to our vision for the DevOps Reports category. I haven't been at GitLab long, but one comment I have heard over and over again from users and members of the GitLab team goes something like this. You've got so much great information in this one application. There are great charts and there's dashboards of different kinds, many different analytics features. But boy, I sure would love to be able to collect those in one place and see them in one dashboard instead of having to navigate all over the product to get a view of how things are going. Well, I want to share a few things about that feedback. The first is we've heard you loud and clear. This is a problem we experience as GitLab users ourselves. I've heard this from people of many different roles. I've heard it from our sales team, from engineering teams, even from our executives. Second, this is a hard problem to solve. Harder than it may appear for two key reasons. One is we really want to iterate quickly to meet customer needs. And part of our secret sauce for doing that is not waiting on dependencies, but allowing our autonomous product teams to be laser focused on the customer needs they're trying to serve. So we don't want any approach to a consistent experience or sharing data that would slow teams down. Another key idea is that each product team is focused on a particular set of personas. And each persona has a specific need, and we want the best experience for each of those personas. So we don't want an approach that would in any way compromise those tailored experiences. But instead, we need to find a way to make those experiences richer, while at the same time enabling users to pull metrics from different parts of the product into a single dashboard. So we've come to the conclusion that we're missing some basic primitives that would help us to achieve this. And I want to share one of those with you today, as well as the baby steps that we're taking in 13.2 to begin to realize that vision. So I'll share my screen and show you around. The first page I want to show is our Manage Stage Direction page. And we have an analytics category on that page where we talk about DevOps reports and really break down what we're trying to do and why on this page. So I just want to make you aware of this. I'll link it with the video, and you can read all about that vision more there. Next, I want to take you to the idea of what we call a report page. So what is a report page? Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words, so let's start there. So a report page is just a page focused on a given metric. It might be talking about how many members are added to a group, or what has happened to my test code coverage over time, or what is happening with builds, or what is happening with value stream measures such as lead time and cycle time and so on over time. So we would have a chart there that describes that, and then a data table below that allows you to drill into details. Eventually, things like a CSV export so that you can actually grab that data. There may or may not be a filter there depending on the kind of data that you're looking at and so on. And the key is a consistent user experience that begins to form a library of metrics. So while we may come to that page from a number in a different place in the product, or a spark line, or another chart where I can drill in and get more detail, as we're enabling that drill-in experience, we're also collecting those metrics in a way that allows us to begin to build a metrics library and eventually a dashboard. So let me give you a real concrete example. In Release 13.2, we're starting with something really simple, but something that customers have asked about a fair bit. Many customers want to know, how are people in my organization using GitLab? How are things changing month over month, week over week, when it comes to issues opened or merge requests or new members joining a group or pipeline builds or executions or new releases and so on. And so we've begun the process of adding these metrics to the top of the GitLab, or excuse me, at the top of any group. And what we're doing in 13.2 is making those numbers, which already appear, a hyperlink so that I can drill down and to actually explore and get more detail. And when I do, I come to a chart that expresses what's been happening with that number over time. And again, this experience would get richer and richer over time. So that's what we mean by an embedded experience. We're drilling down from one place in the product to another to really be able to explore with the data. Let me share with you where we think that will take us. So our very first steps forward with this report page are to just support some of these basic drill down experiences. In 13.2, we're starting with that recent activity page. And then we'll begin to enhance that capability so that those charts can be embedded in other pages. If we'll start with our own handbook pages, but eventually they may be embedded in other dashboards that you might use. And then over time, what we're doing is creating this library of report pages and allowing users to define their own report pages with their own queries, with their own data, and so on, and eventually be able to pull those together into a dashboard that allows you to look at all of those things going on at once. In terms of what we're doing on the data side, our very first MVC with this, we're leveraging the query engine that we already have in the Insights feature in order to create that query that would tell us how many MRs over the last 90 days, week on week or month on month, how many new issues in that particular group, week on week, month on month, and so on. And so the bulk of the work in 13.2 related to this is going to be enabling the building of that very first drill-in experience for merge requests. But what we've done there is built the infrastructure that allows us to define the drill-in for the issues opened without writing any additional code, just by defining a YAML file that defines the query that itself also defines the page that constitutes this drill-in experience. And this will allow not only the analytics team, but other product groups to begin to offer a drill-in experience with their own features and to begin to amass that metrics library, which can then be pulled into these different dashboards. So really excited about this development in 13.2. This is an ambitious journey. We'll be sharing more with you about what we think that journey means with some specific pictures and plans around that. So stay tuned.